course, as you keep doing things will get less and less hard. But there becomes a point where your gains are diminishing because the level of discomfort and sort of negative feelings that you're going through get less and less. So basically, if you started doing cold showers, you start off with 1 minute. Just you think it's the worst thing in the world. You keep doing it and you go, yeah, this is getting better. And after, say two weeks maybe, it's not very hard anymore. Once you're in, I'm just in a cold shower. So at that point there, that comfort, that could be classified as being in your comfort zone. And what you need to do to keep improving is expanding this comfort zone. Yeah. So Sam, how is this the enemy of self-improvement? How could a comfort zone be squashing your journey, limiting and hindering your progress?
A big disadvantage of a comfort zone is that when things are outside of it, we immediately, our visceral feeling, initial instinct is to reject that thing. So if you've ever thought, and it kind of completely contradicts dreams. Like dreams are the enemy of the comfort zone in a lot of ways. So if you've ever had like a split feeling or an instinctual dream that kind of comes up, sometimes when you see someone do something amazing, you become inspired and you think to yourself, I could do that. And then that's when the comfort zone comes in. It's like, no, you couldn't. You couldn't. You. That's not comfortable. Going in the cold sea isn't comfortable. Starting a business isn't comfortable. Taking risks aren't comfortable, and that is a way our comfort zone squashes our self-development, as well as this. If you're not, I suppose if you're not breaking out of your comfort zone, you're usually doing stuff which isn't productive, such as, we all know that watching TV is easy, right? It's something easy, it's comfortable, okay? We know that if you have been, as you said, if you have been taking cold showers for a while, it becomes comfortable. And so self-improvement isn't about finding good habits and just keep being very consistent. That's part of it. That's very important, is consistency. But once you've been consistent,
once you've got a fundamental basis of you're consistent enough with a certain amount of good habits, then hello, this is now my comfort zone. How can I grow and how can I build this?
Exactly. And that's why that feeling of doubt you have when you do stuff is the sign that you're improving. That's a good thing.
Yes, 100%. And there's a really good book which some of our listeners may be interested in, and it's a book by Ryan Holiday, and it's called "The Obstacle Is the Way," and it talks about if you're ever lost or stuck, a way to find your direction is by thinking to yourself, what is the action or the task that I have the most resistance to doing, and that's a big thing with cold showers. So you wake up in the morning, you've set the dream of doing cold intentions. I wanna have a cold shower, and then as soon as you just as you're about to get in, you turn the cold water on. There's so much, and it's this bit, the repeated going through this, which is part of your self-improvement journey. You need to keep going through the discomfort, and of course, over time, this discomfort gets easier and easier. So you need to keep building it up. It's not the act that is the key bit. It could be having a super warm shower, which probably isn't as helpful, but it's the discomfort that comes from you. It doesn't matter about what it could be. It could be asking someone for the time, and it'll change for everyone. So somebody might be really nervous talking to people, just like saying hi, whereas someone could go up to 10 people in a day and wouldn't find it at all nervous, which would mean that's in their comfort zone. And this was something that I wanted to touch upon. So when Sam said you are not being productive if you're in your comfort zone, there's a sort of, I don't think it's not being productive. I think it's more important, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, it's you're not furthering your journey as much as possible. So everything that you do for a certain period of time will get comfortable, And that can be productive. It can be answering emails, creating content, all this sort of things that will get comfortable. And it doesn't mean don't do them. Oh, something's comfortable, I'm going to drop it altogether. But it just means that you need to start looking for other options, other places and areas of your life to find discomfort.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be a different area. So I'll continue with the cold shower example. So say you get comfortable with a minute, 2 minutes. You get comfortable with 2 minutes, 3 minutes. It's that leveling up. It's that point where, and I'm a gamer, or ex gamer, so I'm gonna use the language. You doing the task every day in routine is you getting the XP, getting the experience points. When you need to level up, that's when it's reached your comfort zone, and that's when you need to level up the thing you're doing. So cold showers is a great example because it's numerical. You level up from
100%.
1 minute to 2 minutes.
And if somebody doesn't fit cold showers in their day, you could do 3 1 minute cold showers, or you could do a cold shower without any music, or just variations on it to make it harder in case that like the time doesn't really do it for you. But you can find this with pretty much with anything in your life, and of course be sensible with it. Don't go, I'm comfortable driving my car at 70 miles an hour on the road, so I'm going to up it to 80. But it's in everyday life, there are common things, and it doesn't have to be hard. This is something that it can be really simple, not easy, because going through this discomfort is something that, as time goes on, you get more familiar with. It doesn't make it easier, but you recognize it and you're going, okay, I'm doing this for myself. This is helping my journey. I'm improving. So today there was an example and Tim Ferriss recommends doing this as a way to improve your tolerance of social discomfort. So for the next 10 times you go, his example was to Starbucks and buy a coffee. You ask the Starbucks barista, whatever they're called. I hope that's not the law guy. You ask the barista, can I have a 10% discount? And you don't back away. You just straight up ask. And some of the baristas will just look at you funny because this is a Starbucks and they don't do it. Half the people are so bewildered they just give it to you anyway. And his returns was 7 out of 10 people gave him a 10% discount. And yeah, it's just an easy way in your everyday life. It takes 10 seconds and you're breaking that comfort zone, just pushing it every day, a little bit, a little bit, a little bit.
That's good.
And that's an obvious, easy way for anyone to break their comfort zone, just a little bit.
Oh, I'm going to try that.
Yeah. I'm going to start doing it as well. Sometimes it works better than others. Yeah. All right. And then, Sam, so we built upon the idea that a comfort zone is something that, what it is, how we can, use it. But why is this such an important thing? How is daily life so sort of, how does it create this comfort zone and sort of hold you there as well as it does?
So the reason we have a comfort zone is,
I think that's much better.
Primal is primal. It's that lizard brain. Oh, that's the lizard brain there. It's the lizard brain kind of trying to keep us safe from anything outside of the cave. So a good exercise, which I've done and I recommend, is get a page in your journal, call it The Cave. Write down everything on that page that you find comfortable. So say like I do my daily routine, and I know what I do in my daily routine. I know there are times I do things uncomfortable, there are times I do things that are comfortable. Okay? So I will literally go through my daily routine and I will write down everything I do that's comfortable, and I will think, is that helping me? Sometimes it's like eating breakfast. Is that helping me? Yes, it is. So that'll get a tick. Okay? Watching YouTube for 2 hours, trying to avoid work. Is that helpful? No, it's not. It's comfortable. And it's more comfortable than doing the work. It's very much in the middle of that cave. But sometimes you've got to leave the cave in order to get the food.
Exactly. And it's at that point, which is like your body wants to do the easiest thing possible because that's how we've survived. Don't waste energy if you don't need to. And so Sam's example, he's watching YouTube for 2 hours. He feels so much resistance towards doing YouTube. He knows, like, fundamentally that he should do the work or whatever. and he can look through where's the most discomfort, it's on the work, and then go do the work, pushing that comfort zone.
Mm.
And it's a very difficult thing nowadays. Of course, back in the day when you're living in a cave and all you got to do is, ooga booga, find some food and then put it on a fire. It's,
Mm.
slightly less important. But nowadays,
Well,
society
not only
has.
is it back then there was
Mhm, mhm.
only thing you had to do was go and get food. Is if you're in the cave, all you're gonna do in the cave is sit in the cave, right?
Exactly, exactly,
Sorry, carry on. And then nowadays we have technology, whatever, and that's all made to put
exactly.
us in our comfort zone.
A hundred
Sorry,
percent. Yeah.
please
So
carry on.
what's happened nowadays is society has understood that we used to live in cave and we like living in the cave.
Mm.
So it's gone, oh, how can we bring this cave to people sort of, implicitly so they don't realize that they're being trapped in there? Because when they're in there, they're easy to exploit, they're easy to, make money off and all that sort of thing. So it happens with technology, really, really just anything in day-to-day life that's really just easy.
Do you know
Not
what?
necessarily easy, but
Do you
it's
know?
the sort of.
Do you know my least favorite example of one of these things
Mhm.
is self-service checkouts? You know exactly what I'm talking about, and you do it too.
Mhm. Mhm.
Especially as young people, we're in the shops, we've got our headphones on, we don't want to
Mhm.
talk to people. I've seen the lines over the last 5 years on self-service checkouts go longer and longer and longer,
Yeah.
and it's quite something that is made to be in our comfort zone,
Mhm. Mhm.
and
Yeah.
even
Well, it's
even even headphones as a whole
e-
when you're walking out and about.
exactly.
They
Yeah. But
yeah.
it's the bit which is society's gone. Okay, we've understood that like people find it easier, more comfortable to not interact with people, to be in their own silent thing, so that they don't have to, face the fear of being told off or rejected by strangers. And society's done this pretty much with most things in our life. Everything has now become super easy. And that means that if you want the results that, 95% of the population has, then, stick in your comfort zone. Be happy wearing headphones and using self-service checkouts, which ironically are like slower than the normal ones nowadays.
Oh, yeah,
So
because of the
Sam,
queue. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. How can we resist and how can we identify what's the comfort zone? How can we push it?
All right, so Jack, I'm gonna do the exercise with you because you're
Mhm.
the only one here that isn't me.
The cave. Yes.
It's yes. So I want you to think of something you do on a daily basis that's very easy. Make it a very like not don't make it like I work for 12 hours because I know you're very effective, but that's not everyone's
Mhm.
comfort zone,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, I'd probably say that lying in my bed and bringing my phone in my bed, just sort of a
Mm.
negative habit.
Yeah,
That's
that's deeply within your comfort zone.
exactly, exactly. It's much more comfortable to lie in my bed on my phone in the morning when it's cold outside than get
Okay.
out and chase the day.
Okay, tell me how that feels. Think just imagining yourself doing that. How does it feel?
Feels nice and warm, but
Mm.
then there's a nagging bit of me which is going, "Oh, you should really get out of bed. Oh, you should really take that cold shower. Oh, this isn't helpful."
Okay, so now say something which is so ridiculously out of your comfort zone that it wouldn't even make sense. Something ridiculous you could
In
imagine
that
yourself
scenario,
doing.
just something else.
Just something else in your life that you've never done that you always want to do.
Always wanted to do. Annoying because Sam and I have actually done quite a lot of hard things
Well, no,
together
I
through
mean
the
like
years.
something major, something. So say something for me would be like I'm gonna own a yacht when I'm older.
So like a really big goal.
Yeah, so just say
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
I want to earn £50,000 in the next 30 days.
Okay. How did that make you feel when you said it?
Inspired and slightly scared because oh, it's a big
Okay.
thing. I can't do that.
So people listening now, I want you to either email the show with a goal that's
Mhm,
ridiculous,
mhm.
or not ridiculous, but seemingly outside of reach. We'll keep that positive
Yes,
attitude,
yes.
and I want you to feel that feeling of doubt within your chest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that feeling of doubt, if you get it, you'll get it with cold showers, you'll get it with resistance to exercise, you'll get it with trying to talk to new people, you will get it with trying to express yourself, you'll get it if someone's trampling on you and you want to stand up for yourself, you'll get it there. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
now all of those things are good for you. And then go back to what Jack said about his feeling when he's on the phone in bed, and he's very comfortable, very warm, as he said, but he's got that nagging feeling,
Which, yeah.
that twitch, right? It's a quote you told me. I know it's not a quote from you, but it's a quote you told me.
Mm-hmm.
I have to try and remember it. Hard choices make an easy life. Easy choices make a hard life.
Yes, yes.
Exactly. And so if you have that feeling of initial doubt, initial fear, you know you're doing the right thing and you're pushing your comfort zone.
100%. And I think it's an important thing to do. So we sort of justified why sitting in your comfort zone isn't helpful. So you'll get the same results as the 95%. You just won't really achieve what you're destined to do, what you could be doing. When you go to heaven or whatever thing in the afterlife, and I'm trying to avoid using the word God, but I'll go, when God slides the piece of paper over the desk to you and it shows what you could have been, how like that person are you? So I think this can also be a good exercise for motivation. But you want to be the closest, realized, highest, truest potential of yourself. And the only way to get there is through small steps of difficult things. And this is 100% what we're building on. So sitting in your comfort zone won't get you there. You have to, break it slowly every day. And I'd recommend everyone listening, write one thing. What's one thing in your life? And I know everyone's got one that is very like Sam was saying, is the initial knee-jerk reaction. What is something that you should do? You've heard of, do you want to do? Someone else has been doing it. So like the coffee shop example. And every day you go out and you do one thing, just one thing to push your comfort zone. And you come home and you can put it on a calendar. You can cross the day off. Make sure to mark it and celebrate it. And the next day, you do it again. Maybe it's slightly more out there, but I'd recommend doing a similar sort of thing for 10 times, and then you build it more to push the comfort zone. And over time, you will see massive, massive progress in whatever area you're trying to use this in. And yeah, this is something we'll bring into our coaching.
100%.
Slow steps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last point I want to make, and I think this one is important, and if you don't increase your comfort zone, naturally over time, it's gonna get smaller and smaller and smaller. And I know everyone could have an example of this. When you're sick, and you're been sick for like a week, right? It happened to me quite recently. Especially with COVID, right? When you're locked in a room, your comfort zone becomes minuscule. Like literally that big. Because you've literally been doing nothing for a week and everything seems so uncomfortable. And so I had COVID over Christmas. And you were the first person I saw. And we're very, very close. However... The initial conversation was like, nice weather, innit?
Yeah. It was a subpar, I think.
It was awkward.
And this is a very good point that Sam brings up. So James Clear writes about this in his book Atomic Habits, which is another ding 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 buzz book in self-improvement.
It's a good book, man.
It's a very good book, and I will talk about it in the future. Every day that you improve yourself for a whole year, you'd get 30% better every year. So 1% improvement every day, 37% improvement over a year. If you don't improve, it's a 1% reduction, and the compound effect on that is some insane statistic, like minus 140%. So you're going so far down the drain that you then have to work back up. And of course, once you're down here, something that used to be really easy in your comfort zone is quite hard. And you need to be sort of gentle on yourself to understand that this is what happens. And you don't need to beat yourself up for it. You just need to go, okay, how can I get my comfort zone back up to where it was?
Exactly.
And
that's really...
John?
So that's an interesting point. So what do you think about things like taking a day off or breaks? How does that fit into that formula in terms
Hmm.
of regression?
Well, I fundamentally, if you're not progressing, you're regressing. But I think there's never really a day off, depending on your mindset.
Mm.
So I mean, some days there'll be a habit you didn't do, and technically you're regressing. So I didn't play my instrument for today. But I think if you go into it with the mindset and you do enough, still taking a day off from work or whatever, you still have some of the key habits like journaling and meditation. You're building on those. And throughout your other experiences in the day, you can look for places you've improved. Oh, I've had a new experience. How does this work? Oh, I asked the barista for a 10% discount, even though blah, blah, blah. Just small things like that. It doesn't have to be a massive step. You don't need to go, I'm going to push my comfort zone by, streaking on a football pitch. Maybe not a great example,
Mm.
but, that's probably out of most people's comfort zone. So, yeah,
That's
what,
that's
what
out
would
of
you
the
say, Sam?
law's comfort zone.
That is out of the
Um,
law's comfort zone. On,
well,
on,
I,
on
when
rest
it
days.
when it comes to breaks
Mm-hmm.
and regression, I think right. So we've got. I think everything you just said is so true, and stuff like journaling, which takes like 2 minutes, and you don't even have to. You could do a shorter journal entry that day. Just write something down. Keep that consistency with key habits. Cold shower, right? I know it's a pain, but it is a minute of time. It doesn't. It's like not that bad. There are things you
Mm,
can do on a
mm.
day off that aren't like
Yes.
work or whatever. But my opinion is, so we've got this upward trajectory that we want. Get 1% better every day, as Mr. Clear says. And then we've got this fear of downward trajectory, which is where we accumulate losses of. We
Mm-hmm.
accumulate a smaller. That doesn't make any sense. We reduce our comfort zone over
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
time because we're not pushing it and we get worse over time. So for me, when I hear that, the key there isn't you have to be good all the time or you're going to fall down. It's consistency. And so the important thing isn't necessarily taking breaks, but planning breaks. If you
Mm-hmm.
work 6 days of the week and then you have one day off, you're going to be 5 days ahead. If you try to work 7 days a week,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna burn out. You're gonna feel a lot of resistance because it's very uncomfortable to go back to that once you've had a break, which you didn't plan. So you already feel bad. And so, in my opinion, the comfort zone can almost be utilized in a way as like a pit stop in your
Mm,
journey, right?
mm.
And or a holiday home or something. And the bigger it gets, the more fun the holiday home is, the more furniture you have, the more maids you have servicing you or something. It breaks down the metaphor, right? But I think the problem with that ideology is it could, or James Clear's kind of thing there, and I'm sure he talks about it in his book, is that
Yeah.
you could definitely have someone take that to an extreme where they hear it and they're like, well, gotta work 7 days a week or I'm regressing to nothing. It's a lot like the nofap thing we talked about last time, where if you lose your
Mm.
streak, you lose everything.
And I think that's a very good point and something that we need to understand in the self help community. We are people.
Mm.
Life is fluid. You can't set a rigid routine on a fluid life. It just doesn't work. Things will pop up. Sam will get COVID and then have weird talks with
Oh,
his
I
mates when
better
he
not
gets
get
back.
COVID again. I will be so
No, but
pissed off.
that would be quite annoying. But it's the thing that while you should use your comfort zone as a tool for working out where you can improve, how you should improve, and using it to take breaks effectively. But you do need to understand, and I think it might come off a bit snarky, but if you're not improving, you are therefore regressing. But so that's like I didn't play my instrument today, therefore I got 1%, or I didn't get 1% better, I got 1% worse.
Mm.
That doesn't mean every day I need to play my instrument like 100%. Life is going to be up and down. Some days you're going to get to it, some days you're not. You don't need to beat yourself up for the days you don't get to it. And on like, it's just imagine there's a bubble and you've got all of these different things that you want to do and you're pushing it in all different directions. Some days you're only going to be able to push it in this direction. and that's not a bad thing. That's something you've got to understand about self-improvement. It's not you can do everything all of the time. You've got to choose certain things which are more important. And with that, you should use, your comfort zone to take breaks. You don't have to do everything all of the time.
Mm.
It's all right to take breaks. It's not the end of the world. Having, one day off to recharge, refuel, will probably, like Sam said, be more effective for the next 6 days or 5 days, hopefully. I don't work on weekends. Yeah. Like that,
Well,
you can use it to, you know, you can use it to refuel and get better results in the future.
mm. However,
There
again,
was,
counter
ooh,
argument.
mhm.
Do you think that therefore, if I don't feel like doing something one day, I should just have a break?
No, this was the one last thing that I wanted to add, and I will come back to your question, which is the idea that life. Let me think about one actually.
Well,
I've just forgotten it again.
because what I would say about breaks is that they shouldn't be scheduled by emotion, they should be scheduled by logic. So they should be planned in advance rather than taken when wanted, because otherwise you get back in that comfort zone and your body your brain will just send the signals every time it doesn't want to do something and will try and push you back into its comfort zone. Have you remembered your point?
Yes,
All right.
it was the idea that just because you're not progressing on one thing doesn't mean that like you can't progress on other areas. So on the rest day, it's not, oh, I'm doing nothing, therefore all my progress is going down. You learn new experiences, and with a decent, like, correct mindset, you can go through life, enjoying it, recharging for the future, doing something that's fun and completely new. It's stuff like that. It doesn't mean every day I have to play my instrument, otherwise I'll get bad. It's today I'm gonna let myself off. I'm gonna go do something else instead. It's that sort of thing. Scheduling the breaks is definitely something that is important.
Hmm.
And unless your one thing is playing the banjo, and hopefully if it is playing the banjo, you just play the banjo because that's how you get the best. But it's not, oh, I didn't play my banjo, therefore I'm going to beat myself up. It's all right.
Hmm. Yeah,
It's okay to take breaks.
100%. Right, so in conclusion, in summary, to conclude, what is a comfort zone, Jack?
A comfort zone is the bit of life which feels really easy to do. It's not pushing you. It's not growing. It's sort of a bit shit. It's just that sort of there. Yeah, it's really nice and fun.
How do I tell if something's not in my comfort zone?
Do you have a lot of discomfort when thinking about doing said item? And with regards, I would feel a lot of discomfort for shooting someone. I'm not going to do it to push my comfort zone. But
Yes.
it's, are there certain things that you should be doing? You feel resistance. Basically, taking out the easy choices in life and doing the hard things that get the results. It's the delayed gratification.
Mm,
Comfort zone, oh, I'm just going to snack all the time. Delayed gratification, meal planning, eating well, that sort of thing.
100%. Very well said.
Hmm.
Um, how is the comfort zone the enemy of self-improvement? Well, the comfort zone will restrict you, it will strangle you, it will restrain you. You will feel a lot of resistance to doing things which are very beneficial for self-improvement, such as cold showers, such as work, just normal work,
Yep.
improvement, upgrading yourself, etc.
Yep. I think that's the key point. So it stops you from realizing your truest identity by sitting in a small bubble where it's easy.
Exactly.
Sam, how can you use it to help you? How can I use my comfort zone on my self improvement journey?
Well, we already spoke earlier about how if you feel that doubt when you talk about your dreams, that means that's something good. That's something you should be following. If you don't, then you usually, as you gave the example, you usually get that tug that, like, okay, I should be doing something. You've got energy you're not using. But also, I think we just discovered a new way. A new way for it to help you is when you are taking a break, a comfort zone is great because you can just relax. I mean, when we're on this self-improvement journey, a lot of us, someone play the Sigma male theme, right? A lot of us are like, we got to grind 200% of the time, wake up at 5 a.m., go to bed at 3 a.m. And
Hustle mindset.
that is not helpful. That is ridiculous. Okay, so yeah, and so Jack, do you have any? How can we resist the comfort zone?
I think it's a good example to do your test. So write down all of the things in your life and work out if they are in your comfort zone or if they're not. And of course, some of the things be helpful. Brushing your teeth, waking up. But can you add something to push that comfort zone? Can
Mm.
you keep growing daily, even on your break days? Ask the cashier for 10% off. Try. I don't want to say walk about your house with your eyes shut, remembering if you can know where stuff is. But small things every
What?
day. We'll keep going.
Um.
And then the final point, if you don't push it, it's gonna shrink. And then it gets harder and harder to keep pushing it to get back to where you are. So
There you
keep
go.
growing.
Thank you everybody for listening. That was episode 3 on the comfort zone. Hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed and you're on YouTube, please like, comment, subscribe. If you're on Spotify, please follow the podcast. It helps us out a lot. Thank you so much for listening. Jack, any closing words?
Yeah, we're gonna put 3 different exercises you can do to push your comfort zone today in the description of both of these. Thanks for listening.